Right. So yesterday we have published this report. Now let's see what all can we do after publishing the report. So the first thing we come up over here is the, okay, I don't think so it will happen. Let's see. Might be, yep. Okay. Hmm. So basically it is a subscription which as of now I won't be able to create a subscription over here. Subscription means that if you wanted to subscribe to this particular report, that at a particular interval this report will be automatically sent. Right, I have to recreate my Power BI account, then only I will be able to subscribe, because the trial period of 60 days has been expired in my account. Right, so I need to use some other ID for this. So that is the subscription over here. Let me show you on this. Publish. Right. Okay. So subscribe. So we can put a subscription over here. But let's see if in the further sessions I can tell you about that. Then you have an option of chat in Teams. Chat in Teams. If you are using Microsoft Teams, that you can chat on the Teams with respect to this respective report. Then you have an option of share. Not now. Here it is. How to share this report? People with the existing assistant can use the link. You can simply copy the link. Either you can provide the link, you can go to the Outlook, or you can send it through the Teams. So I can say copy link. Here is the link. I can copy this link and let me put it into the chat. Here it is. So like this link can be shared with anybody. If you will try clicking on this link, you will come to know what happens. Okay, so the link can be shared over here. Then you have an option of export. If you want, you can export this particular report onto the PDF. You can take it to the Excel or to the PowerPoint. Let's see, if I take it on the PowerPoint, what do we get? Export with current values, only the current page. I'm saying I want only the current page and say export. I think there is only one page in my report. If you have multiple pages, all the pages will be published. Not published, exported, I should say. Export to the Power BI. Sorry, PowerPoint. So it is creating a PowerPoint slide for this report. Has anyone of you have created the Power BI service account till yet? Okay. So you can see that the PPT is ready. Let us see this PPT. Here it goes. See, this is the PPT created by automatically by Power BI. So this is the home page. It has been created, and here is your report. Now do not expect it to be interactive over here. If you will click anywhere on the report, it will take you to the Power BI, where you can get it in an interactive manner. Okay. So simply you are getting a presentation of this report. So that is exporting. You can go to the file, and if you wanted to create a copy of this, you can create a copy of this, save a copy, download the PBIX file. Now I have put it over here, and if you can download it from here to your local machine if you have access to this page. Then any permissions, print and embed the report. If you wanted to get this report into some of the website you are creating, you can get the code which you want from here. Then generate a QR code. This is also very interesting feature. So here is the QR code. So the QR code, you can also send the QR code to someone so that this anyone who scans this QR code will be able to see the report, right? But remember, anyone can see the report only when he has the permission and he needs to have a Power BI service account, then only it will be able to see. Now, another important thing which we can see over here is the edit option. Click on the edit and see what you are getting. Can you recognize this interface?
It's the Power BI's interface.
Power
Yeah,
BI
desktop.
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 Absolutely. If you want to create a new page, you can completely create a new page over here, right? Let us take a bar chart like this, and I wanted the sales on the basis of, let's take subcategory. Let me put it as funnel over here. Here it is. I have created a funnel chart over here, and whatever I want, I can do it over here. You can make that some changes to your report. So anything, if you wanted to create a new one, new report, you want to make some changes, you can do it over here. Here it is. And you can go to the file and say save. The report has been saved. Hmm. You can go to my workspace. Here it is. Here is your report. And okay, I have multiple pages over here. This. All right. So let me go to the report over here now. So the next thing, which comes up over here is dashboards in Power BI. So let's see how can we create a dashboard in Power BI. And let us take, you can take any of the visual. Let us take this chart over here, and I have a gate chart. You click on this pin button. Here is a pin button. You click on this pin button or pin, and it will say pin to dashboard. Pin to dashboard. You want an existing dashboard or you want to create a new dashboard? I say I wanted to create a new dashboard, and there are two options: use destination theme and keep current theme. So I'm saying use destination theme, and the dashboard name, let me say it as batch 8 batch 8 report, not report, batch 8 db. Say pin to dashboard. You will say go to dashboard. So you can see this visual is appearing in the dashboard. If as per your requirement, you can resize this visual. Okay, you click on this and you will be back to the report from where it has been taken. Let us take another one. Suppose I want this. Again, I will say pin, and pin to existing dashboard. I will say pin, go to dashboard. Here is the visual. You can resize it. You can put it anywhere you want. Hmm, right. And let me go back. Let me take this also. I will say pin, existing dashboard, pin, and I will also take this pin, and here I am saying keep current theme. I'm saying keep current theme and say pin, and I will also taking this pin and use destination theme pin and say go to dashboard. Now just resize this visuals. Here is what we have created. Now, one thing regarding the theme, let's click on edit dashboard theme, and you will click on this drop down arrow and you will see various themes, dark, colorblind, custom and so on. I will take a dark over here. See, the background and all of all the visuals has been changed as per the theme, but because the pie chart when we have taken it as a use current theme, so it will not change as per the as per the destinations theme. Okay, here is the dashboard. Now, what will happen if I click on consumer, or what should happen if I click on technology? Any idea what will happen if I click on technology? Tell me, what have you
Yes,
observed till yet in Power BI?
the visual will show according to technology,
Visual
the
app,
subcategories for
right?
technology.
Everything, all the visuals will be displaying the details only of the technology. So let me click on technology and see what happens. I have been moved to the report from where we have taken this visual. Okay. So this is one of the biggest negative in dashboard in Power BI. The biggest challenge in the dashboard in Power BI is that the dashboard in Power BI are not dynamic by default. The dashboards are in Power BI are not dynamic by default. Okay. And if you wanted to create a dynamic dashboard, you can click on this dots on the top. Till now, I was clicking on a particular visual and clicking on the pin. I will click on this three dots and I will say pin to dashboard and see what happens. I will say I want a new dashboard. DB2. Say pin. You are getting an option of pin live. Click on pin live. And I will say go to dashboard. Now you click consumer, West, technology. It is interactive. Okay. It is interactive. Fine.
Yes.
So is there a way to create the same from the Power BI desktop as well, or is it like always we have to do it
Good
from the
question. No.
service?
That is also another point which I wanted to highlight is this dashboards are available only in Power BI service, not in desktop. In desktop, we do not have dashboards. We only have reports in desktop. In dashboards are available only in Power BI service. Clear?
Okay. And one more question was like, see on the right you have the filter, right? So generally what happens is like the way we have seen in Tableau, it's like a drop down that that is a clickable drop down. So
Mm.
it's expand on demand. But here it's more like an expanded view always. So is there a way to collapse it and maybe like if I want to expand and see the list of filters, then I can do that?
You can collapse it.
No, the entire thing, like even the central and all will be.
Mm.
So because the reason I'm saying is like suppose we have 5-6 filters. So
I got it. Got it.
uh,
Got it.
yeah.
In the text filter, I doubt it can be done in the number and a text number filter, date filter, it can be taken care of it. Need to check for the text filter. I don't think in text filter we will get that option. Okay,
Okay.
I can check that. For the date and the number, you have that. The slider and all is available in that.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Now, another important point with regarding the dashboard, which I wanted to highlight, that what is the utility? If I am putting the entire report into the dashboard, then what is the utility of creating a dashboard? So the one utility which can be of a dashboard is you can get the visual from different reports. Like you want this also into dashboard, you can click on this. Here it is. Pin visual. Pin to dashboard, I will say batch 8 DV and say pin. Go to dashboard. Here it is. So you have taken a visual from different different report. So from multiple pages, let me take it from something from here. Let us take this pin. Right. So you can take the visuals from different reports in dashboard. But normally in a real-time scenario, most of the cases we will be using reports only rather than the dashboard. And dashboard are only used when we need to provide static information. If you want to show the static view of the visual, then you use the dashboard. Okay. So this was about the dashboards in Power BI. The next thing which is coming up over here is refreshing the data. Now, this is the important part over here. Let me go to the my workspace and let me say refreshed. That is the report which we have published, batch 8 summary. Batch 8 sales summary is the report we have published. Always remember that whenever you will publish a report, the data source will also be published with that. Here it is, the data set. I see the type, it is data set, and you go to the all. Here you are getting the batch 8 summary, sales summary. This is the report and this is the data set. So we have not published the data set, but the data set has been published automatically. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So if we want to refresh the data, what can we do? Just see the time over here. What is the time? Today is 25th, 12:55, and see the time you are getting it over here. It is 24th, 1:47. It is yesterday's time when we have published this report. And there is simply second point to be noted, you never refresh the report. You always refresh the data, report will automatically be refreshed. Okay. So just click on this refresh now button and see what happens. I clicked on the refresh now. See, some processing is going on and the data will be refreshed over here, or it should be refreshed, but I am expecting error. I doubt the error will come. Ideally, error should come. Right, the data has been refreshed. See the timing, 25th, 12:56. 12:56 on 25th. Correct? The data has been refreshed, So that means if any changes has been done in your data, it will automatically be implemented over here. But when you will try to do this, it will not happen in your case. In your case, it will not be happen because on my system, I have already, to get this refresh done, we need to set up a data gateway. We need to set up a data gateway, and this has already been done on my system. So when you will try to do it, you should receive an error like this: refresh failed, right? Refresh failed error will be displayed, and for which what we will do in that case, we will click on this three dots, and there is a settings button. We will go to the settings, and here it is. You will go to, okay, then we are talking about batch 8. Hmm. Batch 8 summary. Here it is. So under the settings, you will go into the gateway connection. And here you are seeing that this is the gateway which has been installed. When you will do it, you will be getting a button over here which says install. You will be getting a button over here which will be saying install. You have to click on install. So it will download the data set automatically. It will ask you for the user ID and the password. So what you will do, let me show you over here. You will get this under the gateway connection. Instead of this, you are getting a install now option. Okay. If you want, I can delete it and then do it again. But you can try it at your end. In case you experience an issue, we can do it on your system, right? You can share your screen and we can do it live with you. Then, so install now, it will be installed, and then you will be getting something known as personal gateway over here. After installing the gateway, the process, once the process has been solved, some installation will take, it should take approx 5 to 10 minutes to install that. And once it has installed, you will be getting this confirmation the gateway is online and ready to use. All right. Now, once the gateway is set up over here, again, you will go to this data set and will try to refresh your data. My workspace. You will go over here once again and click on refresh data. Again, when you will click on refresh data, although you have set up the data gateway, you will be getting an error message. Can't refresh your data. Right? You will be getting this message. Why? Because again, you have to go to the settings. Then initially we have gone to the gateway connection. Now we have data source credentials, and you will say added credentials over here. Added credentials, and it will be asking for the user and ID and the password of your the data source. So as of now, we do not have any user ID password, and you can set the authentication mode as Windows without permission and see the privacy enable as null, and say just you have to sign in, provide your user ID and the password of Power BI service account, and the data source credentials will be set. Now, when you will go to the settings and refresh the data, you will be able to successfully refresh your data. So that means to refresh the data onto the Power BI service, you have to do two steps. Number one, set up the data connective, set up the
Data gateway.
data gateway, and second is set this data source
Data source credentials.
data source credentials needs to be provided. Okay. So now you think, just like that, we can take an example of the report which we have created. We have created the report. We have published onto the Power BI service. Then we have subscribed that report. By subscription, we can what do? We can do that this report will be sent to the respective recipient every Monday 10 a.m. So the subscription has been already done. The report will be sent. And what is my work remaining in this? That I have to just click on this refresh over here. I have to go to the data source, and I have to go over here and click on this button, refresh now. That's it. Monday before 10 a.m. I will log in and I will just have to click on this button. The report will automatically be sent. Sound interesting? Yes or no?
Can we schedule this refresh?
Absolutely. That's what I was expecting. The next thing which we can do, even if you don't want to click on this refresh button, we can schedule the refresh. So again, I will go to the settings button of this data source. And here is an option called schedule refresh. Okay. Keep your schedule refresh. You can make it as on. When do you want it to refresh it? You want to refresh it daily or weekly? I say weekly. So you can specify which date, which time you want it to refresh it. Right? Supposingly, I say Sunday, and what is specify the time. At this time, I want it to refresh it. Or if you want, you can make it daily also. You can refresh it daily, and you can set the time zone over here and add a time. Which time you want? Suppose I want daily at 9 a.m. Apply. Right? The refresh will be the report will be refreshed daily at 9 a.m. automatically. Now you say, okay, you wanted to refresh it again, not only once in a day, you have to refresh it multiple times. So after 9, I said it will be refreshed at 11. Add another time. Again, you can. So like this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times in a day, you can refresh your report. So after almost say if in office hours, after almost every hour, you can refresh the report. And this is the free version of Power BI. If you will talk about the professional version of Power BI, you can refresh 48 times a day. You can refresh the report automatically 48 times a day. That means after every half an hour, the report will be refreshed. So in other words, we can say that we are almost having a real-time report. We are having a real-time report. Clear?
Yes.
Yes. So you can see the power which you are getting over here. So it's a wonderful, wonderful feature we have in this of refreshing the data. So your task has almost finished. Your recurring task has become a one-time activity over here. Here it is. So that is about scheduling a refresh. A refresh can be done. I have mentioned in a note in a like pro account, that is a free account. It is 8 times a day, and in a premium account, it could be a 48 times a day. And here comes your, is it the first assignment?
Yes, for Power BI, yes.
Yes, for Power BI, it is the first assignment. So visualize it, the data in a meaningful way to help the institute to analyze the data, design and report for the planning of the data based on country, institute, department, year, quarter, and qualification. Now here I have given a different, because I think you people have already done Tableau, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So we have done a lot of sales and all. So here I have tried to take a different type of example from the education sector. So let me show you some data over here. Here is the data. Now in this data you can say it is a registration detail of a student. This is the data of a college or a university or an institute, you can call it. Okay, where we have the registration detail of the student, we have the student ID, we have the first and the last name of the student, email, gender, country. In this we have only one country, that is Singapore. And country, the institute, we have three institutes over here, NTU, NUS, SMU, whatever it is. Then we have, oh, what is this? Okay, so we have the department that the students is for arts, engineering or science, what qualification the student has enrolled for, bachelor degree or PhD, the year of enrollment of the student, which quarter, the what is the status of the student, whether the student is active or whether he has withdrawn or active or withdrawn. As of now I have taken two reasons only, two status only, active or withdrawn. Then here is a reason over here. If the person is withdrawn, why, what is the reason for withdrawal, homesick, expensive or academically unprepared. Then we have something known as cohort over here. Cohort means the batch, September batch, March batch. So I think we have three batches over here, June, March and September, right? Cohort fees, that is the key given. Cohort key is ID of the cohort we have given over here. Then what was the fees paid by the student, any other charges paid by the student, total expenditure on the student. Then we have some target and the forecast and the secure packs, which you can ignore as of now, right? So this is the data which we have, and we have the data of 1000 students over here, right? Okay, data is fine, clear?
Yes.
Right. Now let us see what we have. Now we have to design a report for the institute which will help the institute to analyze the data, in which what do we want. Report should be based on analysis on the basis of country. Here we have only one country. Institute, how many students are there in each institute, what is the department wise, how many students are there in department, and per year, per quarter and per qualification. So what we have to say, KPI stands for key performance indicator, number of students per country, how many students are there in each country, that is what we wanted to find out. The number of students per institute, the number of students per department, the number of students per qualification, percentage of withdrawn cases. There are 1000 students, let's take 300 has withdrawn, so the withdrawn cases will be 30%. Then time series analysis of withdrawn cases, yearly how many withdrawn cases are there, that is what I wanted to find out, right? And if you want, you can add your creativity over here. You have full control, you have the full control on which visual to use. It's totally up to you, whatever you wanted to create. Just it is a project for you, you can say a small project in which you have to show that what all you have to learn, do formatting, whatever different visual you wanted to use. And if you want to put some more information, like what is the total revenue earned per department or per institute, okay, lot many things can be done, but the focus is on the one which I have specified. You have the full control, you have to create the report, and this is a real-time scenario. In this is the way in you get real-time work in Power BI. You give they give you the data, they will give you the KPIs, and you have to generate the reports. That's it. Clear? Any doubt on this?
No.
Will you be able to do this assignment?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Then let's proceed further. So then this was the first section which we have covered, that we have talked about the visualization, how to create the visuals and then how to share the visuals. The next thing which is coming up over here is the Power Query. Power Query, which is used for transformation of the data, which is used to make the data ready for the visualization. It will make the data ready for the visualization. So let's take an example over here. So Power Query is a ETL tool. ETL stands for extract, transform, load. And it provides many functions like text function, date functions, number functions are available over here. Okay, so we were talking about the Power Query. So you work in Excel, right? You have seen the Excel functions like text function, left, right, upper, lower, trim, and mid, find, etc. Right? And then we have the date function, date part, date, month, day, year, and so on. And so on. So all these functions which are there in Excel, most of these functions are available in Power BI also, in Power Query in fact also, but that too on a clicks without writing a formula. So let's see how can we do that, and for which let me take an example over here. So I'm getting the data over here. So I will say Excel and and okay, I'm looking for the data EMP. Here it is. This is, let me take this. EMP, say open. Let us take the sheet one. And till now you have seen we have always clicked on the load data button, but this time we will click on the transform data so that we can move directly to the Power Query. Here it is. Now see, this is the interface of Power Query. Here is your data. These are the queries that the table, the data source, whatever you call, we open in the Power Query is known as query over here. We call it as query. And on the right hand side, you will see something known as applied steps. Right? So few steps are 1, 2, 3, 4. Few steps are already there. As and when you keep on working on this, you will doing the transformation of the data, you will be getting more steps over here. Okay. And okay, let us do something. Let's try to do some of the text functions over here. Let me go to the name. I selected the name column, and here you will see an option called transform. You can go to the transform, and here are some text column. These are the operations which you can perform on the text column. Suppose, first of all, let me go to the format, and I wanted to convert it to a uppercase. It has been converted to a uppercase. Okay. Let's take format, and you can make it as a lowercase. So same command, upper and lower, which we use in Excel. Here we are not writing the formula, single click and it will be changed. Say capitalized each word, the sentence case which we use in Excel. Okay. Then trim, it will remove the unnecessary spaces over here. And if you notice, few more steps, initially there were only 4 steps, but now the more steps are being created over here. Let me go to the format and add prefix. Let me take the employee ID. I will go to the format, add prefix. If I want to add a particular character to this, I can add, say I wanted to add E over here and say okay. So the employee ID has become E1001, E1002, and so on. Remember, in Power Query, we do not have any Control Z or a undo option. We cannot undo over here, but for everything which we do, there is a step over here. We can delete the step if we don't want that thing. So simply delete the step and the impact of that step has been removed. Okay. So I removed the step over here. Similarly, you can go to the format and then you have a suffix, something which is added at the end. I will say E and okay. 1001 E. And this is how it is appearing. I don't want this. I can delete the step. Right. So these are few of the text functions we have performed over here. Let us see few more functions. I will go to the name and you will see split. Split by delimiter. Split by delimiter, and the delimiter is space and simply say okay. You can say name 1, name 2, name 3. So Ramesh Sharma, it is appearing in the 3 columns because we might be having some middle name also. Here it is, Abbas Kumar Sharma. Right? So this is how it is appearing. I don't want this thing. I can remove this step and remove this step as well. I'm getting back to this. Again, I can go to the split column by delimiter, and this time I will say I only want a leftmost delimiter, only one. Say okay. So it will be divided only into the 2 parts, the first and the second one. Let me remove this and remove this as well. Then we have split by number of characters. I wanted to split by, let's take 5 characters, and once say okay. So it has taken 5 characters and the remaining, it has split it into 2 parts, first 5 and the next has been divided. Let me remove this. I don't want this step. I can again go to the split column, number of character by position. If you wanted to make it by position, see, where is the R gone? The first position R has been named 1. Where is the another one gone? Oh, I will remove this. Okay. So it has split, means it has removed the first part of this by position. First character has been removed. Then similarly, uppercase, lowercase, digit, non-digit. Suppose you have some alphanumeric number in which you wanted to separate the characters and the numbers, you can use split over here, right? So then you have the third one, that is known as extract. Extract, what do you want? I want the first character. How many first character? I want the first 1 character of this. I'm getting the first character, and see, your original name has been removed because you are doing the transformation. Transformation means making the changes to the existing thing. So it has been removed over here. Okay. I don't want this. Let me remove the step. Then we have extract. First, a length. We want the length over here. If you want to find out the length of this, length means how many characters are there within the specified string. I don't want this. I will remove this. Again, I will say the extract. First character, last character, the range of the character I want from this to this. Starting from the first position, I need 3 characters. Say okay. This is what we are getting over here. Then we have range, text before delimiter or after delimiter. I will say text before delimiter, and the delimiter is a space. Say okay. Before delimiter, we are getting it. Okay, I don't want this step. I can remove this over here. Then okay, text before, text delimiter, etc. And praise is XML and JSON. If you want to take it to the JSON format, you can do it over here. Right, but as of now we are not doing that. So these are few of the text functions which we have seen, which we can perform on this. And let us take some more example over here. Yes. Okay, let's say one more thing over here. I think if you have done SQL with me, we have done one example to generate the email ID. Have you completed SQL also?
Yes.
Yes. Remember, we have done one example in which we have generated the email ID by taking the first character of first name, the last name, followed by the employee ID, and then @outlook.com.
Yes.
Let us see if we wanted to do something like that in over here. How can we do that? So one is, see, currently I am into the transform tab, and all the functions which I am using are applied onto the respective column. All these functions are also available in the add column tab. You can say from text, format, extract, everything you will be getting over here. So I will say extract. I want the first character 1. Say okay. I'm getting the first character over here, and let me take the name, and I will say extract text after delimiter. And what is the delimiter? Space. Say okay. So you will see I am getting first and the last, first character and the last, this last name. Now let us go to the, let us take the first character and this first, this column, and I will say merge columns. Merge column, separator none, and I will name of the new column is say S name. S name, that is the short name. Say okay. R Gupta, S Sharma. This is what we are getting it over here. And now if you want, you can generate like this. Let's take the employee ID as well, and we can combine these two. Again, I will say merge column, say merged. R Gupta 1001. And let us go to the text, merged. I will go to the transform, and under the text, I will say not extract, format, add suffix @outlook.com. Say okay. Here is the email ID, and let me format and make it into the uppercase. Okay, so you can see I have not written any formula. Just by clicking here and there, I'm able to get that desired result. And the beauty is, because we have done all these things to get this email ID, I don't have a requirement of these three columns. I can right click over here and say remove column. It will not impact my data. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Hmm. So these were the few text functions. Let us see, the next set of functions is the date functions. So let us try to do some date functions over here. And here we have date of birth and date of joining. So let us take the date of joining over here, and from that I wanted to get the year of joining. So under the transform, you will see I have the date functions over here. I will click on this. What do you want? I want year over here. Say year. So you are getting the year over here. But if you see that your actual date of joining has been removed, so I don't want this thing. I don't want the actual date of joining to be removed. So I will, yes, and I will do the same thing under the add column. I will go to the date. What do we want? Year. Now year, there are three options. Do you want the year, start year or end of the year? Start year means the first day of the year. If it is 21 or it is 2020, so it is 1st Jan 2020 will be the start of the year, and the end of the year will be 31st of December 2020. So if you want in that manner, you can take it like that, or you can simply take the year. You can say joining year. Let us take the date of joining, and again let's go to the date. Similarly, if you wanted to find out the month, which month of the year, let's take month. It will give you the month number, right? Let me say joining month. Let's go to the date over here. Say month, start of the month, end of the month, that is the first and the last date of the month, days in the month, or the name of the month. Suppose I want name of the month. Now I will be getting January, February over here, and I will name it as joining month. I'm getting the joining month over here. Now suppose joining month, I don't want to display complete in my visual, that is January, February. I want Jan, Feb. So I can go to the transform and I can say format, or sorry, I can say extract length, first characters. I want first three. Say okay. I'm getting in the form of Jan, Feb, and I can go to the format and capitalize it. It becomes the uppercase. So this is what we are requiring as joining month. Joining month, here it is, we are getting. Let us take up the date of joining once again. I will go to the, this is transform, I will go to the add column. So you can see it's just a matter, once you get used to, you can see whenever you when you need to transform and when you need to add a new column, right? Let's say I want to say the day. I want to get the say year, month. Similarly, you can get the quarter, you can get the week. You want a day. I want the day. It will give you the day number. Oh, sorry, day number. That is which day of the month it was. 15th day, first day, 10th day, seventh day, and so on. I don't want this step. I will delete it. date and day, week, day of the week. It is the fourth day, first day, second day, whatever the which day of the week it is. Then day, right? Day of the year, which day of the year it is. Start of the day, that is the morning, and the last time over here. And the important which we normally use is the name of the day. That is Sunday, Monday. We will be getting over here. Here it is. And again, if you want, you can transform it. If you want the name as sun and 3 characters of the name. So again, I will go to the transform. I will take this. I will say extract. I want first character, first 3 characters over here. Say okay, and I will format and capitalize each word. So it is appearing in Sunday, Monday, and I will say joining day. Joining day. Okay. Right. So date function, then so you have seen the various date function. Then we also have something this earliest and the latest date. Let us take the date of joining. I will go to the date, and here you will be getting an option of earliest. So it is showing 19th of April 2000 was your first joining done. And date of joining. Then again, we will go to the add column, date, latest. The latest. I'm getting the last joining is done on May 6, 2021. Okay, let me delete this step. So this is what we are getting over here. Okay, and one other interesting function we have, let me go to the add column. Let us take the date first, date of birth, and let's go to the date. Okay, this we have done. Date. Okay, and here we have age. Very useful feature over here. Suppose I wanted to calculate the tenure that this company, the person is with the company since how many years. So I can go to the age, and I am getting this number over here. Now, what does this number indicate? It indicates the number of days. So I wanted to change it. So this is the duration. I will go to the duration. What do we want out of it? Total. Let's take total days. So it is giving me the total number of days. Oh, let me delete. I don't want the days. I will delete the step. And here I want the total years, which make more sense to me. And you see it is appearing as 30 point something. It is coming in a long decimal value. So I can click on it and say fixed decimal number. Oh, not fixed decimal. I will like to take a whole number. That will be more. So 31 years the employee is with the company. We have taken it on from, I think I have taken it on date of birth. Yep, I have taken it on the basis of date of birth. Let me remove this. and I can simply say age over here. Okay, so here we are getting, let us also, I have done a joining date. Where is the joining date gun? Joining date. Let's take the date of joining, and uh, let me go to the date, add column. I will say age, right? And I can go to the transform over here, and I can go to the duration. I want total years. So here I am getting the total years. I will click on this 1.2 and I will make it as a whole number. This is the tenure. Mm. So here is the date functions. Let me say, okay, date function. And now let us see. Okay, now how to go back? I will go to the home and there's an option called close and apply. So assuming that this is all the transformation which I have done, I will do it and simply say close and apply. So it will take me to the Power BI desktop along with the changes. Here it is. Now I wanted to find out how many joinings has been done each year. So let me take a table over here. Let me put the joining year, and I would like to put the count of employee IDs. And here I am getting the sum, count, don't summarize. So it is giving you the bifurcation that how many this joinings has been done in each year. Okay, 7, and let's see if I put it in like this. Hmm. I think tabular view is better. We will put into the tabular view. Now, supposingly, I wanted to find out which month we have the maximum number of joinings. So let us take this. I will say the count of the employee ID and the joining month. You can see maximum joining has been done in the month of Jan and minimum in the month of November. Let us take one more example. Supposingly, I wanted to find out which day of the week we have maximum number of joining. So again, let me take a copy of this. And I would like to put a joining day over here. Here it is. So you can see that the maximum joining has been done on Thursday and the minimum joining has been done on Saturday and Tuesday. Okay. So here I just wanted to give you, and suppose let's take one more scenario. I wanted to see the percentage bifurcation of the tenure on the basis of the tenure. And where is the tenure which we have created? What happened? Where is that gone? Hmm. Let's take tenure. Let's take tenure into the legend and count of employee ID into the values. Here it is. So you can say 32% is with the tenure 2, then 3 and 1. Then we have a less number of people with the other experiences. Okay, so here my focus was just to give you few examples of the visual which were not possible without the transformation. Is that clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Right. Okay, the third category of the